What you're about to hear is part of the Podgods Network. If you have a problem with anything you hear, please write it in an email and go fuck yourself. Enjoy the show!
You are now entering the world of Musings of a Geek podcast network. Stay geeky, my friends.
Roy, podcasting since 2013, you're listening to Green Up Gaming with your hosts Ryan the Coquito, Roy the Snake Dog, Jeremy the Twist, Philip the Mofo, and Tech Time Teddy the Cody.
All right, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Green Up Gaming, episode number 59. Holy hell, gentlemen, we are getting up there. My name is Ryan, I'm your host, and I am joined with, I screwed this up on Gotham Knights earlier last week, so I'm joined with...
Sounds like you're screwing it up tonight.
Yeah, 4 of my best friends, none of which I've met in person.
Do we want to start over?
I think we should.
That's terrible.
No redos.
Yeah.
No redos.
Hutchie already called it back. No take backs, so no redos. So I am joined with Roy, Philip, Tech Time Teddy, and Hutchie. Gentlemen, welcome.
And I know one of us in real life.
Yeah, I've met at least one of us in real life.
We've met.
Other than me.
But we've spent plenty of hours online together, which is enough to get to know one person. You get to know their true character.
Yeah, especially when you're naked.
Teddy, what you and Hutchie
together.
do on your own time, that's your own thing, bro. Don't bring it to the show. That's for you and Hutchie's show.
Hey, there's no cameras in the Skype session.
That's the Don't Ask, Don't Tell podcast.
And don't scream.
You can find that over at darkangelsandprettyfreaks.com. So welcome, guys. Just want to thank all our wonderful listeners out there that take the time to download and listen to our show. We thank you. We appreciate it. And if you are confused or don't know where to find us, you can find us at greenuppodcast.com. And us, the show is on Twitter at greenuppodcasts. And as we're going to get into this later in the show, you can also call and leave us a voicemail, which a few people have done. And hopefully soon, well, hopefully next week, we'll be able to play these on air so you guys can hear them. And that phone number is 424-COACH-35. So we'll give that a call. Let us know what you think. If you have any questions for us, we'd love to hear from you. How's everyone doing this week?
Wonderful.
Wonderful?
Fantastic.
Pretty bad. I was pretty sick all week.
I was kind of sick during the week. A little gassy today, but you know.
You did share a nice story earlier, but we're not going to waste that here. So if you want to hear part of that story of what Roy shared with us, and I shared a nice little story myself, you need to get onto our bonus email list. And how to do that, just hit me up on Twitter at greenuppodcast, or you can email the show greenuppodcasting@gmail.com. Before or shortly after we release every episode, we release some insights on how the show was recorded, any funny stories that may have happened, and we include a little audio clip from our shenanigans that happens before we actually start recording the show. So if you're interested, please do that. I'm hoping to add a few people every week, so because I know there's a lot of you listeners out there. So, So Philip, how was your week?
It was just awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great, man. I had all kind of professional development. You know, I got paid to go sit in meetings and be bored. It was awesome.
Nice. Well,
man, yes.
But wait a minute. For a text message I got from Mr. Roy was you guys got some snow?
Oh yeah, it's been on again, off again. That's why I had to come down to the Cave of Solitude for early, because we're supposed to get some more ice tonight. So
Jesus, I honestly had no idea it actually snowed down there, if it was even possible.
Yeah, this far south there should not be any snow. I'm a good few miles farther south than even Roy, so there shouldn't be any snow down here, but it is.
Now for
I was
Teddy and
accused.
Hutchie on the other way.
Time Teddy accused my crack factory of exploding and blowing powder coating all over the.
Roy said he had a bunch of white stuff all over his yard, and I was like, "Oh, your crack cookhouse blow up again?"
Had a heat wave today. It was actually above freezing for once.
Damn.
It hasn't been above freezing for over a month now, and today was the first day, and tomorrow's going to be back down to 10 degrees.
Jesus.
You know, I've wondered about that because I'm such an outdoor person. Being inside and not seeing sunshine drives me badass crazy. I don't know how y'all can take it, man. I mean, that would not be a good situation for me to be in.
I don't think Hachi gets out that much, so I think it's okay for him.
Oh, outside? Oh, not during the day. I go out at night.
Hey, he sleeps during the day.
He's a vampire.
So you
sparkles
actually
over here.
despise the sun. Do you make noises
During the wintertime? During the wintertime, Philip, yes, because it's fucking cold outside and there's nothing to do. But because I don't snowmobile. Hold on, I don't snowmobile. I used to snowmobile. I used to ice skate. I don't do any of that anymore. So
Because you broke all the ponds.
yeah, okay. But like during the summertime, I go to softball games. I play beanbag toss.
He's tossing something.
No, Hachi does do a lot of softball.
I could have said cornhole, and that would have been all off too. So fuck all y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute now.
He's cornholing and tossing salads and what else? I don't know.
Cornhole. Let's chase this rabbit because I don't know what we were talking about here.
That's like throwing a beanbag.
It's throwing the beanbag into a. You build these boards, and you have a hole in the center of the board, and you throw the beanbag into it.
Okay, who came up with a name for this game?
I don't know.
That's just what they call it in New Hampshire.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's
I'm not typing cornhole on my computer. I don't want that on my history.
I'll do it.
Fuck that.
Do it. It's gonna come up as beanbag toss.
Yeah, you can.
Cornhole.
You're single, Hutchie. You go ahead and type that into your.
Oh,
computer.
dude, this is all blurred out pictures, Hutchie.
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
Shut up.
I've never in my life. Really, the game is really called cornhole. I'm being serious.
Yes, I am too. Yes,
it's also
called.
known as tailgate.
Yes.
Or beanbag toss, doghouse,
Yes.
or simply bag.
Yes.
Once you scroll down
Bag
past
toss.
three pages of blurred out pictures, you get down to this game, I guess.
I think the other's a game too, Roy.
Well, that's funny. I've got the little things that's got the hole cut out that you throw the beanbags at, but I'm fixing to burn that shit. I'm not having anything about no cornhole in my house.
Now you need to take a can of corn, put it in the bag,
Yeah.
and toss it at the hole.
That makes the best stuff.
Kind of splashes when it lands.
Tossing corn. Okay.
There's actually an association, the American Cornhole Association.
Yes. There is.
The sole purpose is to promote the game of cornhole or corn toss, however you like to say.
Why?
And around they have tournaments and stuff that you can enter, and you can actually win money at it.
Then the Urban Dictionary says, I ate a can of corn, waited a day, and put my cornhole over the toilet,
I've won $20 off the game.
and corn logs came out.
Wait a minute. You got paid to cornhole?
I got paid to win. Yeah, because I entered it.
Make you some type of prostitute?
It's the oldest profession, Philip.
Yeah.
Let's not judge.
We have a. Well,
You are what you eat.
Jennifer had this coworker that was having a birthday party, and it was at it was a little hot dog stand, and we drove out there, and it used to be, I don't know if you guys haven't, we have a whole lot of drive-through coffee shops, like tiny little trailers, people drive through and get coffee. Well, these people changed it into a hot dog stand, and then they actually served beer there. And they had this it was in the middle of a parking lot, like a big strip mall, but there was this little patch of grass. So they built this little white picket fence around the grass, and there was a tree there. And so they put a little fire pit there, and then they had the beanbag game that was, I think the wood sheets were only maybe 3 feet away from each other, and then there's a ping pong table that was a catering table, a really small one. I think the table was maybe 4 feet long, and then they had duct taped a net on it, and there was a couple other things. It was quite something to see. But no, I didn't know there was an actual association for that. But
oh yeah.
Now that shop sounds like it would be made in Alabama.
Hey,
more than Oregon.
That would be $1 million enterprise in Alabama.
If it didn't get
need to
swept
take
up
out
by
a loan.
tornado.
Well, hey, there you go. That's your idea.
What's that?
Open up Roy's cornhole and ping pong.
hey, Willinghams, you guys are welcome.
If you get sick of playing with ping pong, you can play with Roy's cornhole.
It's open for business.
My balls bounce the best.
Oh, so this one story I wanted to share today is because on last week's episode of 7 Days a Geek, Grant and Jason both work in the same place, in the same building and everything, and they were sharing a story about how Jay had, with the high-low lift, had pretty much destroyed their door, the freight door, because he wasn't paying attention. He thought he was rubbing on the bottom and everything, and I guess all this shit happened, and I thought, well, I can kind of relate to that, because, we use pallet jacks every single day we work. We have a high lift we got to do to lift stuff up and down off the top shelves and everything, and as you start working there, it usually takes a while before we entrust you with a pallet jack, and even then, we have a guy there that's been there a year and a half, and he'll still do stupid shit, and we're just like, just stop, let us drive it. You guys know, because with VVV and just doing the podcast with me, you know how I get pretty controlling and I can get kind of quickly irritated.
No.
Yeah.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
really? You get
I agree
irritated that
100%,
quickly?
Ryan. You're hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. So we were sitting there, and customers, we pull all the deli freight out of the cooler, and there's this big door that goes into the deli. And we pull all the freight out so we can go up and down the cooler to throw all items. That way we don't have to walk around pallets and everything. And customers these days, and just the general public, they only care about themselves. Whatever they are doing is more important than what the other person is doing. So I was sitting there trying to take a pallet into the deli, and the Coca-Cola driver came down with a pallet jack, and he almost ran into cases of Doritos, bottled Mexican soda, and you hear the pallet jack hit it. And, of course, I stopped to make sure he didn't break anything, because chances are I'm going to have to clean that fucking mess up. And so I stopped, and I just made a comment to him. Meanwhile, these customers are like, "Can you move the pallet jack? You need to get out of the way. We need to get to the check stand. No. And I was just like, fucking shut up. So I got irritated, so I just started to go. Well, as I moved the pallet jack around the door, I didn't account for the 8 inches to a foot of the pallet that's outside of the jack. And I hit the door so perfectly that the door couldn't swing more open or more closed, and I took the fucking door right off the hinges. And this isn't just like a normal door that you have on your house. This door is 6.5, almost 7 feet by 5 or 6 feet. It's a huge door. The thing weighs a couple 100 pounds. And as soon as I saw the door move like that and it fall on the ground, I was like, oh shit. And I looked at my coworker, and his face is just pale white. And I'm like, Jared, stop. Use your words. From a scale to 1 to 10, how bad is it? He looks me in the eye, looks at the door, and he goes, 8.5. And I was like, right then my stomach just drops. I'm like, oh my God. And my boss just got back from having to be at another store up in Portland to reset it and everything. And he comes back, and all this shit's falling apart. The assistant managers aren't doing this job, so he's already in a bad mood. I'm like, oh my God. So I asked someone else, I'm like, hey, can you take this pallet in the cooler and we'll assess the situation?
So you basically put somebody else on the vehicle.
Yes. So I look at the door, I'm like, okay. And I look at the hinges, and all we have to do is pick the door back up and put them into the holes. But when we look at the bottom hinge had completely snapped off. It was like barely holding on by one thread of the screw. I was like, fuck. I'm like, okay, Jared, help me. Let's just get this back in, even though it's not going to be in the bottom hinge. At least it's 2 out of the 3. We'll mark that up for a success. So we struggle for a while because this door is so freaking heavy and so awkward to hold, and we get it in there, And it opens and closes, no problem. We finish freight, and of course, all morning I'm just dreading it. God, because I have to tell my boss. If I don't tell him about it and he finds out about it later, I'm going to look like a total douchebag. So I was sitting in there marking off invoices, and Jared came in and he got the power drill, and he went out there and he came back. He's like, well, I fixed the bottom hinge. I'm like, how can you fix it with a screwdriver? He's like, well, I unscrewed it, then put it back in, and then screwed it in. He's like, unless you look at it, you can't tell that it's actually broken. For about 15 seconds, I thought, he's actually got a good point. If I don't say anything until someone actually looks at that, they're not going to know. And of course, that whole thing that my grandpa told me, character is what you do when no one's looking. I was like, God damn it.
I've been like, but you ain't here, Grandpa. Fuck off.
So, my boss was leaving. He was going to be gone for most of the day, so I probably wasn't going to see him. And then I kind of gauged it. I was like, so, how's your day been going, Don? He's like, it's all right. I'm like,
it was going fine till somebody broke the fucking door.
I'm like, okay, well, let's go make it worse. So I just walked over and told him and explained to him what happened. And he wasn't mad, but you could tell he was completely disappointed that I was the dumbass that did this. I think if anyone else would have done it, he would have understood. But for me to do it, he just stood there and shook his head. He's like, all right, well, I guess I got to send an email. So he's got to email our contractors to see if he can find get another hinge. And luckily the hinge came and everything. So, but it's nice to hear stories from other people that have to deal with, high-lows or pallet jacks and fuck up from time to time.
I have a pallet jack story.
Do you?
Yeah, I actually do. This one's great. It was one of those electric pallet jacks, and I was when I was working at Walmart in the warehouse. I was moving this whole freaking crate of water. Like in each box, it had 2.5 gallons of water in each box, and it must have been stacked like 5 feet high. And I was lifting it up on top of the all the way up in the air to put it on top of the rack. The whole they didn't shrink wrap it. The whole back side of it fell through the wall. A huge hole. I mean, a huge motherfucking hole went right through the brand new wall. Water went everywhere. My boss had said, you're going to have to go through a drug test now because we're going to have to drug test you to see if you were on anything. I'm like, awesome. He never actually ended up sending me through drug testing though. But yeah.
I don't think I ever knew you worked at Walmart, Hutch.
Yeah, I worked there for 2 years. But when I started working there, it was cool. But then I went through the Super Center. I was on the setup crew for the Super Center, and after that, I went back to working in the regular Walmart, and it fucking sucked because we had this manager that says if you can't put up 55 boxes an hour, you're going to get reprimanded. So they bring me in for a D-Day, which is they'll send you home for a night. You get paid, obviously, for that night, and then you'll go in the next night and decide if you want to continue working at Walmart. I told the guy to go fuck yourself. I quit.
So there you go, kids.
Yep. And then
that's today's inspirational story of how to stick it out.
Yeah. And then I went and worked for a lumber company for 10 years.
Yeah, I know you worked there for a while.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because you couldn't fuck anything up at a lumber company.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's when I started driving forklifts. I was actually a good forklift operator, but no, yeah, we fucked up quite a few things. We used to, dropped a window once, a triple bay window.
Clean up aisle 22.
Yeah, it was at a job site, and we were bringing this big, huge fucking window in, and it kind of slipped out of the hand, and it smashed on the ground.
Gravity will do that.
Yep.
Alrighty. So, TV shows, gentlemen. Are we watching anything cool?
Yep, Peaky Blinders.
What a great freaking show.
Yeah, I'm only on season 2, episode 3 now, so
I'm on season 2, episode 5 now.
Ooh.
Yeah, I haven't gone through it yet. I've been watching it with Roy.
Good for Phillips.
Man, what a great show. I freaking love it.
Yeah, it is. It's an awesome, great show. I'm glad I got pointed out in that direction of that show. I've also watched that show that was in the notes, The Killing. I've watched that too.
I'm not a big fan of The Killing.
No, I watched the first season. I couldn't get into the second season.
I started watching The Killing, but then I started watching this other show called Bosch, and I thought that was a great show.
I didn't like it at first, but usually it takes a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Of course, I've been watching MASH.
Mashed peas?
No, MASH, not mashed. MASH. No ED at the end.
Peas?
No P's at the end either.
I was trying to find a time when the third season of Peaky Blinders comes out. I think we talked about this before, but it won't come out until after it airs on BBC.
Yeah, I think it starts. I want to say that I read that it starts on BBC in October, but I'm not sure if that's right.
Man, October.
Are you talking about the channel BBC? Because I have that.
No, you have BBC America. There's a difference, buddy.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, because there's BBC 2,
okay.
There's BBC 4. There's quite a few different channels in the UK.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was... All right. Damn it.
What other BBC did you think there was?
No, I thought there was only one. I didn't know there was, like, the channel on my DirecTV is BBC, so
Yeah. Yeah, no, Peaky Blinders was freaking amazing. We cannot talk highly of it enough. Honestly, it was so fucking good.
Yeah, after I did just massive binge on Breaking Bad and now Peaky Blinders, it's going to be a struggle for me to run up on something as good as those two have been. I mean, that's two quality shows right there.
Obviously, you have Netflix, Phillips. Did you ever get into that show Blue Bloods?
No, I never did. I don't know why.
It's on Netflix if you want to check out the season, because that's actually a decent show. I don't know. It's really good.
I'm looking to get into House of Cards since the third season's right around the corner. Give me time to binge watch the first two.
Oh yeah, that shit comes out next week, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
The 27th.
Yeah.
Well, what is House of Cards about?
It's
political.
It's based off an old British show where they did it in Parliament, but this is the American version, of course.
America.
Congress, and now he's done moved up to the White House.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to follow, if I want to check out anything political. I get it.
It's pretty good
stuff enough.
The first season was good. I haven't finished the second one yet. I was kind of upset with it.
There was a...
You were just mad because he killed that chick. You don't know
that's
what
why
chick.
That's why I didn't say anything, Roy.
I don't give a fuck who I spoiled it for. I didn't say any names.
Another one that Hutchie might like it because it's a little bit more of a cop, or it's kind of like a cop show, just an investigation. But The Fall, a Netflix original.
I couldn't get into it.
Really?
Yeah, I tried watching it. Jammer said it was a good show, and I took his word for it, and I tried watching it, and I could not get into it.
Dude.
That's with the chick, Gillian Anderson?
Yes, and that sex scene in her hotel room. Fuck, that was hot.
She's really old now, right?
Yeah, it's alright, dude. She aged well. If you know what I mean.
She had plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Like fine cheese.
Another one I'm looking to get into is
Stinky.
Broadchurch. As time opens up, so.
I do want to watch that one too.
Yeah, Broadchurch looks pretty good. I did watch one episode, the first episode of Sirens. That
was pretty funny.
A half-hour comedy show about Chicago EMTs and cops. The first episode was pretty funny, I think.
Yeah, I watched the first one too.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I didn't see anything past the first episode.
I haven't either.
I figured that Hutchie would be into that since he's Mr. EMT, fireman, rescue.
I was going to say, I'm not an EMT.
Boy.
Well, the first episode was pretty freaking hilarious because of the was it a Coke bottle or something that guy had shoved up his butt?
Yep. Yes. The glass. I think it was a glass bottle.
Right,
he said, "Yep," like he was really excited about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, the Coke ones fit better.
Yeah. No, it was pretty funny. You know, if I have time to kill, I think that'll be something I watch just because it's a short comedy. I don't have that much invested to it. But yeah, other than that, I just watched my usual Helix, 12 Monkeys, The Blacklist, Agent Carter. The Blacklist was pretty good. We're starting to open up a little bit more into
I still haven't seen... I haven't watched any of that second season yet.
You were missing
wow, dude.
I'm recording them all.
The best part about this new episode that just aired is Red's in the DMV because he's got to meet that little short dwarf guy or whatever he is, you know, to get some information about someone. So I forgot her name, not Reed, whatever it is. The one that we think is his daughter.
Yeah.
She walks in to sit down next to him, and this lady that's standing above Red just sneezes all over the top of his head. And I was like, oh my god. Because you know people do that. You've probably been in a situation where someone just sneezes on you, and you're just like, seriously, what the fuck? But for a lady to do it to a guy that has no problem killing someone.
Yeah, I thought I was going to kill somebody this week. I had to go to the doctor. Fucking everybody in there. Fucking coughing, hacking, sneezing.
Imagine that.
Talking about how bad the fucking flu was, and not one of them covered their fucking mouth. So there I was like, God damn, I'm finna go nuts. Do they even know how quickly I could kill all of you motherfuckers?
How'd you like the music? You love that music.
Oh my god, dude.
I was getting texts while he was in the fucking hospital.
It was fucking, I don't know why, but it was disco day at the doctor's office. They had all this disco music playing, dude, and I was so fucking mad.
Oh yeah, he started texting me.
Teddy, have you dived into anything? Just for the record, I did add Being Human to my list on Netflix. Haven't started it yet.
Didn't that get canceled?
Yeah, it did. It was it Being Human or Almost? I think it was Almost Human.
Almost Human got canceled.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Almost Human that got canceled.
Teddy?
Good. Yeah, just Bosch. I finished Bosch up this week. I really want to get into... I didn't see the first episode yet of Vikings. Vikings came back last week.
Yes.
So I want to watch that.
I got double up.
Philip, did you get to watch any TV since you finally got basketball finished with? Or?
Well, yeah, that's the reason I've gotten as far into Peaky Blinders as I have. I've actually had time to sit down and watch a little bit. I watched that's all I did last week. It was nothing but Peaky Blinders. So
God, that is such a good show.
It really is. I've just been, and I've been raving about it to my wife, you know, but of course, you know, she can't watch it because we don't have good enough internet out in the sticks to.
You can't even stream Netflix.
TV. No. As a matter of fact, we got an email. You know, we've got the Dish satellite, whatever, Dish Net, internet. Anyway, they sent out an email that Netflix and Hulu and things like that were really not the satellite internet that we have is not made for that stuff. And if you are able to use it, it's just going to chew up your data that you're allowed or whatever. So yeah, there's no Netflixing at home, but I got to try and figure out how I can. I don't know. There's got to be some way to put it on a flash drive or something and watch it at home because I know she'd love it.
Yeah.
I could give you a piece of advice that my internet provider gave me when I called them. Just move to the next town over. You'll be fine. You can get the best possible internet. That's exactly what my internet provider told me when I was on tech support with them.
Yeah, they kept saying
assholes.
They kept saying you're in Tuscumbia. Why can't you should be able to get high-speed internet? And I was like, no, I've got a Tuscumbia address, but I don't live in Tuscumbia. I live in the middle of a cotton field, you know. And they just, you know.
Maybe if you move into a wheat field, it might be better.
Well, it's actually got wheat in it right now, so
there you go. Maybe he moved into a weed field.
Weed field, yeah. Those are even higher. Maybe you can bounce signals.
I don't want to live next door to Roy.
Alrighty. So we're just going to flip 5 and 4 since 5 is so weak. So news for video games. They're coming out with a new Rock Band for Xbox One, PS4. Big question mark for you guys.
Awesome. Can't wait for it.
I love that shit.
Nice.
I like that
shit. If you guys were into it or
That
not.
was the best drummer ever on Rock Band.
Look, I'll play the guitar.
I didn't look. I wonder how much is...
I could play drums and lead vocal. Let's put it like that. That's fucking
It was
tough.
like $200, I think, for the whole complete set. I think it was like $200 for the drums, the guitar, the game, and the microphone.
Or 4 cornhole sessions for Hutchie.
That's 4 tournaments he's got to win to get the $20 per. So
yeah, but I'm in bowling season right now, so I'm winning money on that.
Oh, nice.
I've won over $100 so far. And like, if I'm gonna start playing in this pool where if it's like I knock down all the pins above my average. No, I knock pins. How many pins I get above my average? Like last week, I had over 34 pins above my average, and I would have won over $100. And I didn't play the pool. Yeah.
Dumbass.
So I'm gonna start playing that pool. Yeah.
Huh, interesting. I didn't think you guys would be so positive about Rock Band.
Yeah,
nice.
dude. Are you wanting to do a Green Up podcast, man?
Oh, we can make that happen.
Holy shit!
Oh shit! My controller battery's gonna die.
Yeah. I'm not good with instruments, even fake ones.
Well, you can sing. But...
You can sing.
All right.
Nice. I found this kind of interesting. PS4s are set to outsell the Xbox One by 23 million by 2019.
Yeah. Then the PS5 will be out.
Yeah. And the Xbox 180.
The Xbox
completely turn around away
the Xbox U-turn.
The Xbox 180 where they go back to doing things right.
Come on, that won't happen.
Also, Dynasty Warriors 8 comes out this coming Tuesday. I don't remember which one I played, but I did play. Maybe it was like 3 and 4 or something like that. But did you guys ever get into Dynasty Warriors?
No.
Nope.
Maybe.
Huh. I thought it was a lot of fun. I never actually bought the game. I would just rent it, but just the amount of how many
the
people...
fighting game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta go through and kill all these bad Chinese people or Mongolians or whatever. It's pretty fun. I mean,
why they gotta be bad?
I did notice that.
Have you ever met a good Mongol?
Hey, after watching Marco Polo, I would argue that.
See.
Redbox is starting to rent Xbox One and PS4 games, so if they had it available, I definitely would rent it. So, while we're talking about video games, you guys playing anything fun this week?
Yeah, I've been playing that new Sniper. Well, it's not new, but that Sniper Elite 3 game with Roy, and that's pretty fun. And then I've also been playing, obviously, COD. That's about it.
Plays the COD.
Double XP.
Double XP weekend. So
Roy, I have to ask you, who's the better partner, Hutchie or I, on Sniper Elite 3?
You're both horrible.
Oh.
Horrible partners.
Oh, shut up!
Right.
I am good.
At least Hutchie made it a couple of minutes without raising an alarm, unlike you.
I'm a good partner.
Right off the bat.
Well, just wait, because I also bought it. I just haven't downloaded it yet.
Jesus. I don't...
Yeah.
It was like
only
$10.
$10.
It was a
yeah.
huge sale this
no-brainer.
week.
Yeah.
I also
Yeah,
bought
but it eats
Halo
up like
Master
80
Chief
gigs
collection.
on your freaking thing.
I don't know how that's a big problem for you, Ryan. The only
It's
game
only
you play
like
is
13
FIFA.
gigs.
Fuck you, Hutchie.
So I don't know how it's a huge problem to reinstall it.
He's on Netflix too.
Yeah. And Hulu
Hulu.
Plus.
Well, yeah, I'm clearly gonna delete freaking Call of Duty Advanced Warfare after this weekend.
Awesome.
Yeah. Except for the zombies, I would do the same thing.
That's pretty
I also played Minecraft this week with Roy and Hutchie. That was fun, and I think Clint was in there.
Oh yeah, Clint was there.
Okay, shout out to Clint from the Geek Dig podcast. What's up, Clint? How you doing, buddy? The invites are open to anyone else out there that wants to jump on Xbox One and jump on our parties and have some fun. Just let us
Shout
know.
out to VVV Kukaido, too. I'm just going to give him a shout out.
Thanks.
I almost got to play with him this week.
Yeah, almost. He joined the party chat. That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, you were watching something, Teddy. So.
Yeah. I was watching Teen Wolf.
Oh, God.
Season 3.
Oh, my God. Are you serious? Can we say fag?
You can say it. Doesn't make it true.
Oh,
no matter how much you want it to be.
Yeah. It definitely is true.
All right. Yeah, I played 2 maps of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and regretted it. And then you guys were talking about jumping on Sniper Elite 3, and I plugged it in and realized I had to reinstall it all and the 21 gigabyte update. And I was like, fuck this.
21 gigabyte update?
There's not a 21 gigabyte.
What the fuck is that?
There is no 21 gigabyte update for any game.
You sure?
Yep.
Cornhole has a... I can't even go there.
I heard Redbox is also going to be renting Cornhole.
the new action adventure starring Hutchie.
Okay, here. Hey.
You can pick it up.
Sniper Elite 3's mandatory install, which was originally planned to be 21 gigabytes in size.
Yeah, mandatory install, not update.
But the 10 gigabyte day 1 patch brings the full install size to 19 gigabyte.
Which
still
is not...
pretty freaking big for a freaking game.
I'm gonna go look on my hard drive, see.
Yeah, why don't you do that, Hachi? Look at your fucking hard drive.
Shouldn't take a long time.
I will, you fucking douchebag.
Alright, so is that it for video games? We're pretty much done with it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, no, I played Dying Light 2 this week. And I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Good.
It's a great co-op game when the co-op works.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, Xbox One co-op on Dying Light has not been very successful for me.
Or anyone else.
I feel like I'm trying to play co-op with a cornhole bag. I'm just not hitting the hole, you know.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. I'm sure our friend Neil from Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks can give you help with that.
Maybe lube would help. I don't know.
Or just spit on it.
Yeah, just spit right there in the hole.
Spit is the devil's lube.
That's the name of this show.
You want the lube, Charlie.
Spit is the devil's lube.
Y'all not ever seen that episode of 2.5 Men?
No.
Emilio Estevez is on there.
I don't think
It's
so.
awesome.
That's great. All right, so the discussion I came up with has a little bit just something that's going on in my life. I was going to go to the whole... there's quite a bit in the news about the American sniper, Chris Kyle, the gentleman that shot him and his friend to death. The trial's coming out, and there's a whole thing about soldiers that come home, or how society pretty much turns their back on him and all that. But I figured, why don't we keep it a little bit more upbeat? So, since Jillian signed up for T-Ball this weekend, Jennifer and I have been doing a lot of research and reading a lot of articles and everything. In our area, I mean, we have kids sports. We have, like, the T-Ball she signed up is actually for the city, which gets all the local, even the smaller cities around involved. And it's really organized, really nice. Soccer, there's kids sports, there's another league, and then there's one that's actually ran by the Timbers, which is our pro soccer team out of Portland. Does something down here in Eugene. So we have all these options, which is great. And then you start looking at, clubs, especially when it comes to volleyball, soccer, and all that. And these things start getting pretty expensive. But of course, looking at this, we just want to give her as many options and opportunities to play as many sports or whatever she wants to do. So one article we read was for basketball, this one parent of, I think she was 7 or 8 or something like that, the daughter was. But she was the tallest kid in her class. But unfortunately, she wasn't going to get much taller as she grew older, just, genetics and everything. Everyone in the family's pretty short. She just hit a growth spurt fairly early. And on the way home from a game, her older sister asked her if she had fun. And she said, well, I guess so. It was okay. And her other sister asked her, well, why don't you, shoot any baskets or anything? She's like, well, the coach doesn't let me do it in the games. I can shoot during practice, but in the games, I just rebound the ball and pass it. So it kind of sparked a conversation between Jennifer and I about, the whole, coaching aspect to these, younger youth sports and everything. And I wanted to get your guys' input. Philip, being in that position with your kids, I'm not sure, what sports they played, or have you guys came across anything like that? And, Philip and Roy, I know you both coached. How do you tell when a coach is doing a shitty job? How and when do you step in? How do you stop yourself from being that parent that's trying to be too involved with the coaching aspect? Where's that fine line, and where do you find it?
Honestly, for me, it was, it was tough when my daughters played basketball. They played for a couple of years, but it was tough on me because I was coaching basketball at the time, and they were playing, and it's rec league sports. It shouldn't be about. It shouldn't be about, let's go out and crush our opponent or anything like that. You should be working on developing skills, and you should be working on enjoying the game and wanting to win. Getting that. That's what youth sports should be about. Is competitiveness. Not to the point of we're going to win at all costs, but to the point of it's fun to win, and you should want to win if you're going to play. And but really, the development of the skills is the thing. Both of my daughters were, they weren't just what you would call great athletes. They weren't blessed with a lot of ability, and I saw that a lot. There were the kids that had been playing basketball forever that were the good ball handlers, and they were the ones that did all the dribbling and the shooting, and then everybody else was there as a role player. So it was tough on me, to sit back and say, well, this is really not what this is designed for. And it was easy on me when my daughter said, I'm really not interested. But, I think the funniest thing was when my middle child, my youngest daughter, but my middle child, when she was playing, she had a game, and, I'd already kind of gotten upset because she wasn't playing that much anyway. And I was thinking, we come to all the practices, and we're doing everything we're supposed to do, but she's not getting to play that much. And we were at a game, and the game ended, and my daughter never left the bench. She never went in the game, and I was furious. And as a female coach, and my wife kept saying, "Philip, please don't say anything. Philip, please don't say anything." But there was no way. My daughter didn't even get off the bench. So I just, I didn't walk across the court. I walked around to the bench. I got to the bench, and the coach looked up and saw me, and she held both hands up, and she said, "Before you say anything," I begged her to play, and she said she was fine. She didn't want to. And, I looked at Mallory, and she said, "I just had fun cheering over here, Dad." And I was like, oh, fuck, just get in the car. So that's kind of what I dealt with. Mallory, she just didn't care. She was happy to be a part of the team, and, she playing wasn't all that for her. She wasn't that interested in it. It's tough, though, because I can't coach. I don't want to coach my own kids because I went through that, with my dad coaching me, and I know how easy it would be to snap on them, but,
yeah,
at the same
not like our dad ever did that shit with we played.
At the same time, I want them to get good coaching, and I really want them to develop good skills, and abilities, and more than, let's just kick it out to the kid that can dribble good and let them take all the shots. I'm looking for development of skill, but as a coach, I can do that at the house.
Well, I think that's a really good point too. That I talked to one of the coaches that I coached with at Willamette, just to get his advice, because he's the varsity softball coach, and Jillian with t-ball, and then going into softball as she gets older. Because I know he coached his daughter, and he actually coached his son in football too. And I just asked him, how did you manage that, and how did you walk the line between, parent and father? And he said, when we're on the field, I'm the coach. I'm understanding. I'm not harder on him. I'm not less. I treat them as equal. And when practice is over and we get in the car, and he's like, then I'm the father. I'll ask how practice was, how things were. Like there were some times where that got shaded, or a little gray area. But I don't know. I just like any parent, I want the best for my child, and I want the best opportunities for her as well. So I'm just a little worried about, because I've seen what some of the middle school coaches and even the high school coaches that get jobs to coach these sports, and I guess mostly football, because that's a majority of where my experience is at coaching. I see these coaches come in that I question their ability to coach a youth, just the bare basic skills of how to coach, let alone teach a fundamental drill or anything like that. And they just get thrown into it. And then, I see how the practices are run, and sometimes I just shake my head and have to walk away, because if I don't, I'm going to find myself getting involved with it, and that's not necessarily a good thing. But I'm worried about me losing sight of that line of saying, okay, just let her do her thing.
Right. And that was the thing with my kids. I told my wife, because she was really worried about it, because, for a long time, I'll say this, I've mellowed a lot over all of my years of coaching. I mean, since 1986, I've mellowed a lot. And, she was really concerned because, I do have my past, which is always going to be there. But, she always reminded me, and I always reminded myself, I wanted sports and games and things like that. I wanted all of that to be fun. As long as they're having fun, it's just like my daughter saying, what the crap? Why do I have to play? I just really like sitting over on the bench and cheering. That really hurt. That was hard for me to deal with, but, she was having fun,
Yeah.
As long as they're having fun, that's the whole point, I could have killed my son in soccer, when he's playing out there playing soccer, and, they get to take turns as goalie, and he's playing goalie, and he's back in the back of the net catching grasshoppers. And they're kicking balls and bouncing them off his rear end, and I want to kill him, but he's having fun. He's having a ball, and he's running around and playing and having a good time, And I go. My wife is really quick, because when my hands hit the arm rail on the little lawn chair and I start to get up, she's always grabbing me and saying, "No, this isn't
Remember
your
what
team,
the judge said.
this isn't your team now. You just let him have fun." And, I think taking the back seat, neither one of my daughters really were into sports all that much. They just, they didn't, I mean, they might have wanted to, they might have liked it, but they didn't play. And, I've always said, hey, look, I don't care what they do, if they're in the band, if they're cheerleaders, if they play sports, if they just sit in the corner and read a book, as long as they're happy and developmentally they're good, then that's fine. Let them do what they want to do. But, I've just been terrified with my son. And, yesterday, as a matter of fact, we were sitting there, and Roy, of course, is having to watch every hockey match on TV. and he's arguing with my son about how great hockey is, and my son said,
"Thank Jammer for that."
My son said, I'm not into hockey. He said, I'm into soccer. And I was like, dang right. He said, oh, and I want to play football too. And looked at me and smiled. And I was like, fuck yes. I got that wood, and it was awesome, man. My kid finally said he wants to play football. I'm all for it. Of course, that raises the bigger fears of, is old pirate Philip going to come out and, start flying the Jolly Roger again? Because I can do it. I've been there. I've done it. So, it's tough.
Teddy or Hutchie, do you guys want to weigh in at this at all?
No.
Not really.
You don't have to do a lot of teaching in cornhole.
Come on, y'all don't want to speak up about y'all's kids?
I don't have any kids.
Well, I know, but you've got nieces and
that
nephews,
I know of.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, what about Matthew, who's got all the concussions? He's one away from never getting to play again.
He's well, Matthew actually, they said it was a sinus infection. I'm not sure if they actually said he had a second concussion. They did say he had a sinus infection, but he's all good now. He's actually back to snowboarding and all that. But he was not able to continue wrestling for the rest of the year because of the They said, I don't know if it was an actual concussion or not, but
how old is he?
He's 14.
Okay.
Cool. So he's wrestling with the school.
Yeah.
On the school team. That's awesome. When my son wrestled, he was in the youth wrestling, and it was awesome. But he was just like, I don't want to do that anymore.
He said he was running. He said from what my sister was saying, he was undefeated. Like not by pins or anything, but by like tactical points and stuff like that, I guess. I don't know how it's done. Wrestling is scored, but
you get points for takedowns and whatnot. Then
he was winning. He won because of those.
Cool.
Yeah. I remember growing up in the area we were. The big sport was your summer sport, baseball.
Yeah.
And I do recall being on the pitcher's mound. Why, I don't know, because I was not a pitcher. But my dad, who coached me many years, I'm actually throwing a strike here. And he yells from the stands. So I don't even remember the comment, but it was something about, did I bring my purse to the game? And I was like, this old motherfucker. So I hit a guy after that, and then they pulled me. But, yeah.
You had it easy. He melded a lot. He coached me in every sport that I played. And, I was always the person that had to go to the sideline and talk to the coaches. And it was just so he could just, he was tough. Daddy he was tough. It was rough. It really made it.
Like I said, though, man. But when the thing that I remember and that I took from him, and even from Philip when I coached, was the teaching the kids the right way to do something from the beginning. Teach fundamentals, teach it correctly, and make sure they have that. And if they go forward with that, then whatever else is all good. You're not going to win them all, obviously.
So, but I couldn't agree with you guys more. I think that's great. But let's bring this up since season 2 is out, and my wife is infatuated with watching it. But is it Tiny Tykes or Friday Night Tykes or whatever? On
I won't watch that shit.
Is it Esquire?
Yeah.
Where these tiny kids, in Texas, which the South. In Texas, I mean, your guys' football it's out there compared to the rest of the country. I mean, it really is. I mean, you guys take it, it's a lot more serious down there than it is up here. I can't watch it because I physically get upset, and then I find myself, like, upset after turning it off and watching something else. I can't stop thinking about it. But for this, I think it's good that it's on, national television if you have cable and know to watch Esquire. I don't know why it's on that channel, but whatever. How do you, Philip, you said you can't watch it. Roy, have you watched it at all, or?
I watched some of it. Yeah, it only gets me pissed off. I think especially with football, wrestling, anything physical like that, it will help baseball. Anything where you have movement, learning a pitcher learning how to throw the ball correctly or how to, everything. The person that's doing the coaching should have some degree of knowledge of what they're teaching. And I think it was in the first season, there was a woman on the field coaching and teaching how to tackle. And it was obvious that she had no idea. Matter of fact, she even said she had no idea what she was doing. But it was one of the deals where, whoever was the regular coach or whatever, maybe it was his wife, I can't remember, but he couldn't be there, and so she had to do the practice in the game for that week, and that was just ridiculous.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like I was talking about earlier, when I see stuff from these, the middle school football programs around here, and even my last year at Willamette, I saw people get in positions above me that have never coached high school football. And I can understand if you've coached youth football. I get it. You have a fundamental understanding of how football is played, the positions to coach and everything. But to never coach at the high school level, and then I would see them struggle, whether it was organization skills, whether it was composing themselves on the field, whether it was running practices, whether it was running drills. I mean, for me, the basic fundamentals I've already learned. And to see them get put in positions above me and that I'm supposed to listen to, it was one of the many things that went wrong with me, in the last season I coached. I mean, it was very frustrating. But then, you got to start somewhere, and I understand that. But I think that, especially with football, and I'll agree with wrestling, because you're put in positions that not only you can injure the person next, that you're going up against, but you can injure yourself. And if the bare basics aren't taught and you don't know how to teach them, you don't deserve to be there. I'll get off my soapbox on that one.
I saw on the show notes you were talking about, what if the coach is doing a shit job? Do you step in?
Okay, well, let me, before you go ahead on that, Roy, let me, Jillian's last soccer camp thing that she had, it was Tuesdays and Thursdays for 2 weeks. It was just 4 days. There's a soccer coach, and I believe it was through Kids Sports. And I've learned this now that Kids Sports, the days are determined by the coach's availability. So the coach just decides what days they do it. It was one coach. There had to have been over 40 kids there, but she had 3 or maybe 4 high school age students that were clearly soccer players there to help her. And I say high school, and I may be pushing that a little bit more. That may have been freshmen and then some middle schoolers there. Okay, Jillian. And one of the last ones we were there, I kept myself back. I didn't interfere with anything. And then I saw a younger boy that may have just barely been a half year older than Jillian. And he was like putting other kids in headlocks and pushing him and punching him and everything. And I wasn't going to be the parent to go over there and smack the kid. I mean, trust me, I wanted to, but I didn't. And the coach was busy. And the high school girls were having a tough time dealing with it. They didn't know what to do. And at the time, there was this dad on the field, and I thought, okay, well, maybe she hired another coach, and he's there to help. So I just walked up behind him and gently put my hand on his back, just to get his attention. And I asked him, like, hey, are you helping coach? And he's like, no, I'm just a parent, and I just wanted to help out. And I was like, okay, but how do I know you don't molest your child at home? Of course, I take it to the worst possible, thing, but I'm like, how do I know your qualifications? And I understand my daughter's 4 and it's soccer. They're teaching them how to kick the fucking ball. I get it. But I was just dumbfounded by it, and then I was like, oh, well, there was just an issue, and I didn't want to bother the actual coach. And luckily, the girls were able to handle the situation, got the kid to stop. Then after the practice, we asked the coach, and she's like, no, you need to come to me right away so I can get the parent over here to remedy the situation. I've learned that's what to do. But Roy, what were you going to say about that? I mean,
I wasn't going to say anything. I was reading the notes, and how or when do you step in? Shit, man. I don't know. If you're, let's say that me, you, and Philip, or hell, even Cody or Teddy and Hutchie are there, and we're watching a youth practice or whatever, and you see somebody teaching bad tackle. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to sit back and
no, not a bad tackling technique.
That's what I'm saying.
They're telling you to teach you, put your head down and just drive.
Right.
No, you can't do that. I mean, I think it all comes in.
There's got to be the line that gets crossed, I guess. But how many parents know the difference?
Well, that's true. It's a good point. All right. Well, did we completely kill the mood of this podcast?
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right. So is this where we want to have Hutchie call us all douchebags or something?
You guys are all douchebags.
Oh, go play cornhole, Hutchie.
I would if there wasn't like 6 feet of fucking snow outside.
Oh, just do it in your basement with your cat.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So this next segment is pretty simple. I just wanted to give a little tease of what Roy's segment is going to be starting in March. And Roy, what's that segment called again?
It's on Netflix, motherfucker.
Yeah. That's awesome. Love it. So this one I just wanted to tease with since I just finished The Killing Season 1. So Roy's going to find either a movie or a TV series that he's enjoyed, or maybe he watched it and it was shit and he just wants to tell you what he thinks about it. So this will be for him. So I just wanted to tease everyone.
Oh boy.
It definitely won't be fucking MASH, I'll tell you that.
That's a fucking classic, asshole.
Yeah, MASH is a good show.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, don't support him, Philip.
Oh, it
Thanks,
really
Philip.
is.
I know you got my back.
Hell no, you called me a douchebag.
Yeah.
I call everybody I like a douchebag.
Even your mom?
No, I said like, not love.
Aw. Jeez.
He don't love y'all.
So, Killing Season 1 takes place in Seattle. A young girl is found in the trunk of a submerged car, and the lead detective stays even though it was her last day on the job. She's supposed to be moving to Oakland with her new... I can't even remember if they were actually married or fiancé, whatever the hell.
I think they're fiancé. They're not married yet.
Yeah. The first season had plenty of twists and turns. I started watching the show, got a little more than halfway through it, and then just kind of lost touch with it. And then I thought, well, fuck. I can't go start a new series without finishing, one I already started. And I got hooked into it again. I mean, the plots, the writing is really good. I found it interesting that AMC actually canceled the show after the second season. Fox got involved for whatever reason, and it got picked up for a third season. And then AMC canceled it again, only to have Netflix pick it up, and that's how they ended up finishing with the 4th season. I think it is only 4 seasons long. My biggest issue with the show is the 2 main characters. I don't even know how to say her name. Teddy, do you?
No, and I didn't hear about her since the start of the killing. I've never heard of her before.
Morelli Enos. I watched Big Love back in the day when it was on HBO, so I saw her from that. And the most recent thing I saw her in was Sabotage with Arnold
she
Schwarzenegger.
played the
whore
chick that was killing everybody.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Jesus.
Yeah.
And then Joel Kinnaman.
Ain't like anybody's gonna watch Sabotage anyway.
Sabotage was a great freaking movie.
I wouldn't say great, Hutch. It was alright.
It was.
Oh.
No, it was fantastic.
It had Arnold in it.
I'll be back.
So, Joel Kinnaman, you might know him most recently from... He was the main actor in RoboCop. Both these people, I just can't stand seeing him on the screen. It's the hardest thing for me to watch. Is especially the actress from Sabotage and Big Love. I just what was it? One of the recent Growing Up Not Growing Old, Shane from The Manliest Hour was on there, and Mike asked him if there's any actors or actresses that he just can't stand their faces, and for me it's these two people.
Ben Affleck.
I just cannot stand seeing her on the screen. I do not like her at all. It does have Billy Campbell in it, which, you know, I do enjoy Billy Campbell. He's I wouldn't say he's a great actor, but I enjoy watching him.
So are you saying that you don't like the redheaded chick on The Killing?
That is correct.
Why not?
I can't stand her. I think
she's ugly.
God awful hideous. She is fugly.
Yeah, she is. I don't like her either.
Yeah, but I mean, she's a cop, though. I mean, they're not supposed to be lookers.
I will.
I've seen a lot of cops that are lookers.
We were at the baseball game yesterday, and there was a couple pretty hot.
Say looker or hooker?
It's the oldest profession. Oldest profession.
Oh, okay.
Rizzoli and Owls. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
Yeah.
Not TV cops.
I guess it's based off a Danish show from... I'm not even going to try and say this word, but...
No, I think you should.
Actually translated is The Crime, and it was actually a UK show as well. The plot, the story, if you watch the whole first season, and luckily, you know, season 2 is right there after it on Netflix. You can easily watch it. All 4 seasons are, actually, but I'm just saying, you know, the season 1 cliffhanger wasn't that great, but there's a lot of unanswered questions that, you know, the second season finally starts diving into it. The writing is good. The show is entertaining. It's a great story. It's a lot of fun to watch. But, you know, visually, I gave it 3.5 out of 5. Audio, 3.5 out of 5. But overall, I think it's a 4 out of 5 show.
Wait a minute. If you gave 3.5 out of 5 for visual, and audio got 3.5 out of 5, how did you come up with 4 out of 5 for overall?
Because the entertainment value outweighs the gritty background of Seattle and the non-stop fucking rain.
But that's really Seattle.
Well, I know that. I don't know. Teddy, you said you watched it, right?
I haven't finished the first season yet. I kind of got sidetracked.
He kind of hated it.
I watched the first season. I'm halfway through the second season of that show.
What'd you think of it there, Hutch?
It was all right. I don't know. I've stopped watching it, so it really didn't spark my interest.
Well, let's call it what it is. Shit. It got canceled.
I watched it when it first came out on TV, and you know the first season I thought was pretty good. It was really deep and dark, but you know I was into it and I watched it, enjoyed it, but after that, not so much.
All right. Well, there's that. So that's just a little tease. I'm sure Roy's is going to be a lot more entertaining than mine, but that's just what I
usually is.
Oh, God. How the hell do we deal with you? So, voicemail requests. So, again, thank you for everyone that called in and left a voicemail. We have a couple here that we wanted to get into. The first one was from our good friend Mark. They're from... does he actually live in Alabama, too?
No, he moved to Tennessee.
He moved to Tennessee.
Tennessee. All right. Well,
but he's like fucking 15 minutes away from us, so yeah.
Yeah. I think he moved to Tennessee because they've got a little bit more relaxed laws on making moonshine.
Nice. So he asked for Roy and Philip to tell us a story. And this is what I took from his voicemail. You guys at Jenny Jones' place when Lou Allen threw the snake in the truck.
Yeah, this is a fucking terrible story.
Yeah,
I don't know why
it's the
he wants to hear
stupidest
this.
thing ever. I can't believe he actually brought that up. It's a
Of
terrible.
course, they thought it was fucking funny.
Oh yeah, big joke.
So,
well, I guess let's set it in perspective here. So we're doing ghost hunting here. So we, you know, there's this place where
Ghost hunting.
Yeah, we used to take like football players all the time. There were, especially to Aunt Jenny's place. There's a lot of folklore and legend about ghosts in different parts of our neck of the woods up here. So we always went and, you know, just goofed off, get a good scare the shit out of some kids, you know, have a good time.
I think we were all together with another guy that coached with us at the time. Well, two of them, Lou Allen, the faggot that is involved with the snake. And,
the psycho's a better word.
Yeah, these bastards.
He had a pet rattlesnake. And you tell me normal people that have pet rattlesnakes, and I'll kiss your ass.
They had us all in a minivan. This is one of these. At the time, it had the new feature where you could hit a button. The driver could hit a button and open both sliding doors.
Yeah.
Okay. He could also open just one of those doors if he chose to. So we've gone out. We've been in the cemetery and we've scared everybody. And we're on the way back, and asshole Lou Allen yells "stop!" And he's stop.
Drunk. He's so drunk he can barely talk. Okay, we got to clarify.
He gets out, and it gets fuzzy here for me because
we knew immediately when he yelled "stop!" What the fuck
there was trouble afoot.
Yeah,
and
these are people that yell, "Ooh, Copperhead, stop!"
and go pick it up. No,
yeah, they go play with poisonous snakes.
Anyway, so I'm beginning to panic a little bit. He gets out of the van, and I'm like, fuck, I've got to get this seatbelt off because I knew trouble was coming. I get the seatbelt off, and I think that both doors are open. Because all night long, every time we've stopped, both doors slide open, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever because I was drunk myself. But as he turns the corner with the snake in hand, I just get up to run. I'm, exit stage right, take the fuck off. I'm getting away from snakes. I hate snakes. I can't stand fucking snakes. These guys know our hatred of snakes, and they all the time pulling some shit on us with a snake.
It's not hatred, it's fear.
Yeah, it's fear.
Call it what it is. It's just cold-blooded fear.
So I see him holding the snake, and I see him round the corner of the van coming at me with the snake. I just bolt. Well, the other fucking door was not open. And I smashed into the side of this fucking thing head first. And I hit it hard, like the fucking wheels rocked on it.
The fucking van is rocking back and forth with the force
I have almost flipped this minivan. I hit it so hard. Well,
the worst part about it was I was still trapped in my seat, couldn't get my seatbelt undone between him and the door. So he hits the door and collapses on me. So I'm trapped. I'm fucking trapped. There's nothing I can do.
Lights went out. I was out. I've knocked myself unconscious in a minivan.
And he's laying on me, and Lou Allen climbs in the van with easily an 8-foot snake that he picked up on the road. And he is, oh man, it was just, number one, he's so drunk he can't even say words. He's talking, but he's not saying words. And it's up to the effect of, and so he lays this snake on my shoulder. And Roy's passed out in my lap from knocking himself out. The van's still rocking, and everybody's laughing. And
he's playing dead.
They taught us a long time ago, when you see a snake, you don't move. So I'm just sitting there. The only thing moving on my whole body is my right hand, which is frantically pulling at the door handle, trying to get it open. And I'm talking about I wound up breaking the door handle, which I left laying in the floorboard of the van because that served the bastard right for locking the door on me.
Fuck him for locking that door on us.
But easily a 12-foot snake is laying across my shoulder and up around my damn head, and Roy's passed out in my lap, and I've broken the door. I can't get out of the van, and I'm trying to tell him to stop. But all that's coming out is a noise like, that's all I can do. So finally they get this snake is easily 20 foot. And it was wrapping around my throat. I have no doubt I was near death. It was a near-death experience. And, just horrifying.
No, because when I fucking came to, he was playing dead in the seat next to me. and he was fucking playing. I mean, the snake was dead, and it was about a foot long.
Oh, it was easily 25 foot.
And he don't fucking move. He's just sitting there, like paralyzed.
I couldn't move.
I've got a
pants, but I couldn't move.
Got a fucking knot on the right side of my fucking skull. Looks like devil horns coming
You're
out.
laying across me. I couldn't move. I was trapped with a 30-foot poisonous viper choking me.
Yeah. So they all thought that shit was just funny as hell.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Fuck all y'all.
That wasn't even the funny part of the night. The funny part of the night was when we were leaving the cemetery and Lou Allen is trying to make it scary for the kids that we brought along, and he's just screaming, "Oh my God!" And then he's stumbling along because he's drunk off his ass, and he falls in a ditch. And the ditch is like covered over with briars. So he's laying in the middle of this briar bramble and he's screaming, "Oh my gosh!" And everybody just thinks he's acting stupid to try and make it scary. But it's really because these briars are just ripping him to pieces. So he's rolling around in the briars, and I was thinking, "It serves you right, you fucker." So there it is, Marco, you bastard. You had to bring that shit up. Guess who's not going to sleep tonight?
Roy?
Oh, I'm going to sleep first.
Oh, so thanks for that, Mark. So again, if you have any questions or requests, please feel free to give us a call, 424-COACH35. And our second voicemail request comes from our good friend Tristan on Twitter at an archaeologist. You guys were actually able to listen to him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't send it right. All right, good. So during his voicemail, real quick, the synopsis from it was that he works late at security, so he brought us dinner from home, and being Irish, I guess they just like to eat potatoes. So he had taken a potato from home but didn't wash it. So, he's standing outside his little security area with a kettle of hot water and a paper towel scrubbing a dirty potato. And so he asked us if we have ever been caught doing anything weird with our food. So, Hutchie, how about you, my friend?
No, I have not. Never.
Bullshit.
Never.
Bullshit.
Both do shit, asshole.
Does your mom bake pies?
Oh, I get it now. I didn't get it before. I get it now. Oh, I talk to my food all the time. I think it's important to have a rapport with your food. So I talk to it all the time. Sometimes I talk to it like it's a kid, Oh, it's good food. Who's going to eat it? Who's going to eat it? But then, sometimes you got to get dirty with it, That's right. You know who's fixing to eat you.
Oh, yeah, you look all moist, hamburger.
Come here, peanut butter.
Oh, God.
No, not that again.
Oh, my God.
What about you, Teddy?
Caught? No, I have never been caught.
That's a great answer. That's classic.
I mean, who hadn't held a fucking cucumber like it's a dick? Run up behind some chick like you're fucking fucking her in the ass. Who hadn't done that at the grocery store?
I haven't.
Or how about a grilled hot dog hanging outside of your pants? Put it on someone's shoulder.
I have come in from the garden, with a load of cucumbers and stuck one down in my pants, so it looked like, I was much more of a man than I was, but that's about it.
We have pork loin, center cut loins, or beef tenderloins. They're pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah, you grab one of those and walk around the deli cooler like it's your cock.
Yeah.
Pretty much every weekend thing around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, except I use the beef loin.
Got to keep kosher, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Just
There's the
for all
color,
of
color
all of
matches.
the people going to buy your pork loins now.
Yeah, there is a. Yeah.
We should open up a meat department. I can beat our prices, but you can't beat our meat.
Yeah, you can have it coming and going with the cornhole stand.
Well, stop by Hutch's Cornhole Corner.
Pick up some corned beef.
Get your fresh pounded beef.
All right.
Don't forget some of Dr. Roy's root extract. Help with upset tummies later.
No one can beat our meat. That's a slogan for your meat shop.
I think I said that earlier.
Yeah.
Oh,
you said that.
okay.
Nice
I
try,
can
Teddy.
beat our prices, but you can't beat our meat.
Oh, it was
Way to
too
pay
complicated for me to understand.
Way to pay attention, Teddy. Way to pay attention.
All right, so let's wrap this motherfucker up.
Oh, we still have Mofo story time, bro.
Oh, we do. Yes, Philip,
It
your
wasn't on
brother.
the story notes.
Your brother was boasting on how this is a great story,
No, I said it would probably be embarrassing to me.
and I translate that into it was a great story.
No.
Well, anytime it's bad for Roy, it's a great story. Me, not so much. Kind of like, somebody putting a 30-foot snake on me, making me shit my pants. That's not ever good. I do I do have a story. I mean, if we want to save it, that's fine. I can save it. It's a pretty good one. But, we can just tease that up for next time if you want to, if it's getting close to showtime.
Well, it's 5:07 here. I don't know what time the walk.
It's 8:07.
It's 7.
It comes on at 9.
It's 11 o'clock here.
Shut up, Teddy.
Hi.
I was hoping you didn't understand time zones.
No, we do there, Teddy.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Philip, floor is yours, my friend.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and tell it. I think I've mentioned in the past that, growing up where we grew up, the place to be in the summertime was always at the lake. If you couldn't go to the beach, you went to the lake, and there were, we had different lakes that you could go to depending on, who you were hanging out with. But one of the places that I always went was, there was this small private lake that my buddy had a lake lot at, and we used to go out there and hang out and fish and goof off and have cookouts and chase the chicks and have a good time in the summertime. And the thing about it was a small man-made lake. So the rule of the lake was if you had a boat, it could not have a gas-powered motor. You could only have like electric motor boats. So, you were pretty limited in what you could do. There were no jet skis or ski boats or anything like that. But
no outboard motors.
Yeah, no outboard motors of any kind. It was a little bit of a pisser because you couldn't. It just limited what you could do. So we had just a little flat-bottom John boat that we kept out there. It's probably a 10, 12-foot little flat-bottom boat. And we had, a trolling motor that we would use when we fished. And but, we were kind of bummed out because we couldn't ski. We couldn't do anything fun. There wasn't anything fast. The trolling motor's just too slow. So we started brainstorming, and one of the things we came up with was we'd just get a bunch of trolling motors and put on this boat. And, we'll get this thing where it'll really, skip across the lake pretty good. So we, the problem was, we're teenagers, so we're all broke and poor. And we didn't know anybody that had any trolling motors. We found an old trolling motor in my buddy's basement and actually got it working. It didn't work good, but it worked. So we had 2 trolling motors, but, it just wasn't getting the job done. And Roy and his little buddy were, they always wanted to go to the lake with us. We've already talked about that story, when I was telling the story about Winterhook. But I never would let them go because, there were girls at the lake, and I didn't need my brother out there, my little pudknocker brother out there, cramping my style. And,
getting all the women.
We're teenagers, so Roy and his buddy, they're probably maybe 9 or 10, but his buddy had a trolling motor. He said, yeah, we've got a motor. We got a little boat motor. So I was like, okay, well, if you can produce this motor and it actually works, then we'll take you with us. And so it wasn't 30 minutes later, Roy and his little buddy came back to the house, and it's taken both of them to carry this motor. And this thing looked like it was made in like the 1920s. It was ancient, man. It was huge. And that was all rusted. I was like, there is no way that thing's going to work. And so I got to looking, and I was like, well, where do you, because most trolling motors, you connect them to a battery. And they were like, no, this one runs on gas. And I was like, you fool, you can't do that. It's a gas motor. And they were like, just, it uses a special kind of gas like you put in the chainsaw. So I knew they were talking about it was a 2-stroke motor. And I thought, okay, well, we can get around this rule because it's a 2-stroke, 4-stroke, whatever. So I called my buddies up, and I said, hey, I got us another motor. I said, this thing is huge. I mean, the prop on it was gigantic. I said, we may be in. We may can actually ski behind this thing, because that was our goal. We just wanted to ski. And so, they came over, and we tinkered around, and we finally got the motor cranked, and it would run, and we got some gas and some oil, and we mixed it up. And so we had our plans. The next day we're going to the lake, and, Roy and his buddy were going to get to go, and they were all excited. And I was pretty excited, too, because, going to the lake, that meant we were going to get beer, and there was going to be a lot of women. And, it was fun summer activity. So we get up the next morning, and we head to the lake, and we've got these 3 trolling motors. And, it's hilarious. We look like, a bunch of idiots, because you had to walk down. I mean, it was a 100-yard walk down to the lake from the truck.
A fucking long, steep hill.
You had to carry, 2 batteries and 3 motors and a big, can of gasoline. It was horrible. Plus, we had all the other stuff, like, 3 or 4 cases of beer and, some hot dogs and stuff like that, so we could grill out when we got hungry. And so we finally get down, and of course, it took 30 minutes for us to get up enough courage to actually turn the boat over and make sure there wasn't any snakes under it, because that was the hardest part of the whole trip. We loaded up this boat, and it was hilarious. We put the 2 trolling motors in the back because the batteries were pretty heavy, and we put this other motor in the front. And so we all loaded up in this boat. It was like 5 people in the boat. It was just about to sink. We had so much weight in it. But, we got those 2 trolling motors going, and, we were tooling around pretty good. And then we finally got the gas motor to crank, and I'm telling you, this thing would fly. We were actually, making a wake behind the boat. It was moving. We were hauling butt. And I was like, this is freaking awesome, And my buddy, he thought he was a genius, and I could tell he was doing the math. We had a couple of trolling motors that were probably, 30, 50-pound thrust, something like that. And we had this gas motor. It's easily 50 pounds or more. So I know my buddy's doing the math, and he's looking at me and nodding his head, and I'm thinking, we're going to fucking ski. We have figured out we're going to ski on this private lake, and every chick in this entire lake is going to be at our pier, and we are going to get some tonight. So we get back to the bank, and, the buzz is already out. The girls, they've already seen, and there's, girls are paddling up canoes, and they're swimming up, and our pier is just covered. in chicks, and it's awesome. And we're sitting there, and we're doing the math, and my buddy tells me, he says, we're screwed. We still don't have enough power. We don't have enough thrust for. I mean, we're all teenagers. We're all 180 plus, and so we were kind of a little bummed. And I was like, dude, man, I was really hoping somebody was going to do some skiing this weekend. And Roy said, hell, I'll do it. And my buddy, he started doing the math. Now, Roy, he was kind of pudgy, He's a pudgy kid. But, he was still, weight-wise, we felt like we were in. We had enough thrust that we were going to be able to do this. But the problem was, Roy Victor, he had never been skiing. He didn't know how to ski. So we had to ski, and we just took a rope we found in the garage,
old ass rope.
It was our go-to rope. We used it for climbing up mountains. We used it for everything. So we had this rope, and we had to take the grappling, the homemade grappling hook. We had to take that off of the rope. And we tied that to just the back handle of the boat. It was horrible. And
fucking biggest redneck thing you've ever seen ever.
The problem was it wasn't a ski rope, and Roy was like, this thing's going to have some pull on it. I don't know if I can hold it. So I was like, it's not a problem. We'll just tie it around your waist, So we still had the problem. Roy doesn't know how to ski. He barely knows how to swim. So, we got to figure out how to ski. And my buddy said, look, it's easy. He said, when I get the boat going, when the slack is coming out of the rope, you just got to time it and just jump up in the air. And when the boat pulls you out onto the water, the ski will hit the water, and you'll just plane out across the water, and everything will be fine. So Roy was like, hell yeah, let's do it, This little 10-year-old kid, he's drinking beer, and there are girls everywhere, so he's already got his swag on. I'm doing this shit. So, oh man, the pier, the actual pier that he's standing on is about 5 foot above the water. It's so high above the water, we couldn't dive into the water because the water's shallow there around the pier, so you'd get stuck in the mud. So he's on the pier, this little chubby kid. It's the funniest thing you've ever seen. He is on this pier, and he's got this rope tied around his waist, and we've got one of those old ski belts, and he's like, I don't want it around my waist because I might flip upside down and I won't be able. So it's up under his arms, so his arms are stuck out to the side, and he's holding onto this rope, and we got this old ski. I don't know where. This thing is huge. And he's standing, and he's like, let's go, bitches. Let's crank this damn boat. Let's move. So my buddy's like, we can't all ride in the boat. So my buddy's going to drive the boat. And what he was going to do, he was going to turn both of the trolling motors on full blast. And then he was going to run to the front of the boat and get the front motor cranked, and that should give him enough time to get the slack out when the boat starts moving fast enough that Roy's going to hit the water and he's going to ski. And we had it all mathematically worked out. There was nothing that could go wrong. So my buddy gets in the boat and he's like, okay, are you ready? And Roy's like, no, I'm not ready yet. He said, I need a beer. This 10-year-old kid, and all the girls was like, oh, he's so awesome. And so I had like a half a beer, and he downs his beer, and he's poured most of it out on him, but he wants up his beer can, throws it to the side. He said, I'm ready now. Let's do this shit. So my buddy in the boat, he's sitting there, and he's like, he's got his hands on the trolling motor handles. He looks up at the pier. And he says, are you ready, Ski King? And Roy says, make it happen, Captain. He throws these trolling motors on, and he goes running to the front of the boat. road, and the boat's just, it's moving away from the pier. And you hear the front motor cranked up perfect on the first pull. Boom, the boat just starts moving, and I see Roy's eyes getting big because he's seeing this rope is actually moving out, and he's realizing, hey, it's go time. So this rope is going out, and I'm thinking, he ain't going to jump. It's just going to jerk his ass off the pier. So I yelled out, jump! About that time. He jumps as high as he can, which ain't very high. And just as he's coming down, he's fixing to be back on the pier. And finally, the slack comes out of the rope, but it don't just, ease out. It like jerks whiplash on him. But this huge fucking ski we've got hits the pier on the way down, and it tips him forward, and he goes into the water face first. And this boat,
in this shallow.
This boat is just pulling. My buddy, he ain't looking, he's just driving the boat. And I see Roy go in head first. And the ski is sticking out of the water. Straight up in the air. And Roy is being drugged. And the mud is coming up off the bottom. His fucking head was stuck in the mud. And he's dragging him across the pond. And this ski is going, and I am dying laughing until I realized, holy fuck, that's my brother. He's gonna die. And finally, the girls are screaming, and it's like blood curdling. So I dive in the water to save him. And my buddy finally gets the boat stopped. And Roy, the ski belt or whatever saved him. He comes bobbing back up. He's got mud in his eyes. His nose is full of mud. His ears are full of mud. And he's got this big old clump of mud on his head. And he's bobbing up and down, and he's trying to be cool and not cry. But at the same time, he's fucking pissed. This little 10-year-old kid is bobbing up and down in the water, and he is cussing like a sailor. And there's mud flying everywhere. Oh, and I finally got to him. And he can't see because his eyes are full of mud. He's got mud everywhere. So I'm like washing his face off. And I pull this huge glob of mud off of his head. And he's freaking got a bald spot on his head.
He's the fucking shit. Pulled my hair off, man.
It's the bottom of the lake. And pulled the hair off his head. He ain't got no hair on the top of his head. He looked like a fucking monk. And he's cussing. Oh, man, I knew I was fixing to take an ass whipping. And the beer started kicking in. He's throwing up mud everywhere. All the chicks left. So we took the boat back to the dock, and we took all the motors off, and we took everything. We just fucking left. Ski King was out. And then when I got home, I had to explain why my brother didn't have no hair on top of his head. And he stunk like beer and throw up. But I'm going to tell you what, that was awesome. It was fucking awesome until it wasn't awesome. Ski King. That
was an awesome story.
I thought there was going to be some success at the end, and then Roy somehow got laid.
No, nothing ever happens good in his stories to me.
Oh man, that was. Let's see. It took it took a while for his hair to grow back in. I thought he was gonna have one of them monk haircuts forever. That mud just, the bottom of that lake just scrubbed all the hair off his head.
For the rest of that year and part of the next summer, I just had to shave my head where it looked like I wasn't fucking patched up bald. Thanks to these motherfuckers. Brilliant mathematics.
We did the math. We had easily 150 pounds thrust, and, he couldn't have weighed more than 100. Just didn't work out.
That rope in the story, it's failed me more than once.
Oh, that rope is notorious.
Oh, so the title of this episode went from "Spit is the Devil's Lube" to "Skeeking."
Make it happen, Captain. When he said that, I was so proud. I was like, yes, this little motherfucker's got a chance. And then he went in face first.
I don't even think that was a fucking water ski. I'm not sure what the fuck that was.
Yeah, it probably wasn't. I mean, it probably was like a snow ski. There's no telling. We found it in my buddy's basement. So, you know.
Shit.
Oh, goodness. Oh, thank you, Philip. Roy, thank you again for going through pain for our amusement.
Yeah.
I can just imagine the mud flying up. Roy cussing.
I went a long time without breathing underwater.
Yeah.
I'm
not kidding. He had mud like packed in his eyes. I thought he was going to be blind because his eyes were packed with it in his ears. It was hilarious.
It's that old shit mud from the bottom of a lake. Nasty fucking god damn! I can smell it right now. Jesus.
None of the chicks wanted to come hang out on our pier anymore after that either.
Well, gentlemen, unless we don't have anything else good for the order.
I can't stop it.
That was awesome.
I may change my gamer tag.
Skeeking, I like it.
Skeeking.
Well, so again, if you want to leave us a voicemail, we would definitely appreciate it. It's pretty simple. Just pick up your cell phone and dial 424-COACH-35. And if you get a chance, send us an email, greenuppodcasting@gmail.com. Again, we're looking to interact with you guys, so hit us up on Twitter @greenuppodcast. And if you want to weigh in, if you've got any kids that maybe you're doing sports, you want to weigh in on the subject that we discussed earlier. Again, just in case you get confused, it's 424-2622-435. So, like I said earlier, you can find me on the Twitters @greenuppodcast. Roy, where can they find you on the Twitters?
@Dominus_Victor.
Philip?
You can find me at Cosmofo Said So.
Tech Time Teddy.
At Tech Time Teddy.
And Hutchie.
@Gummy Hutchie.
@Hutchie Emo.
Okay, we're supposed to actually change that there, Hutch.
Yeah.
Remember,
yeah,
you agreed to it.
What were some of the winning ones?
Unicorn. He's got to do the unicorn one.
I'm not doing the gay one.
Hutchie
Emo Unicorn.
What's wrong with Hutchie Unicorn?
It's gay. Why don't you change yours to Rhino, the gay ass fucking unicorn?
That sounds like a book you find in the library. Rhino, the gay ass unicorn.
All right, Hutchie, I think you got to change it to Gummy Hutchie.
Hutchie Bear.
That's even better. Come on, Hutch. Come on, Hutchie. You know you want to. All right,
what
guys.
was it last night? Clutchy Hutchie?
They called it. I did it. They called it to me again today because I clutched a couple more matches today.
Effordent Hutchie.
Effordent. Oh my god.
Oh. All right, guys. So, from the Green Up Gaming Podcast staff, we wish you all a wonderful week. Please get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you, and we will see you next week.
Make it happen, Captain.
I am ready, Skeeky.
You've been listening to the Green Up Gaming Podcast. You can find our podcast on iTunes and Stitcher. Please follow us on Twitter @GreenUpPodcast and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/GreenUpPodcast. GreenUp is a proud member of the Pod Gods Podcasting Network, the Pod Damn Podcasting Network, Musings of a Geek Podcast Network, and of course Tangent Bound Network. You can listen to Green Up on Geek Life Radio every Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time. To find these very strong networks, the websites, and Green Up's own electrifying blog, be sure to check out greenuppodcast.com. We here at Green Up Studios would love to hear from you, so please take a minute or two and call our voicemail, 424-COACH-35. That's 424-COACH-35. If it's good enough, could wind up on the show. Thanks for listening.
You are now leading the world of Musings of a Geek podcast network. Stay geeky, my friends.